focus on something what you can do, and then you enjoy it to do in the end.
First of all, I want to thank you for inviting me back to your beautiful home. I mean, this is just so nice. This is the best backdrop I have of any of the podcasts.
Really?
Yes, it most definitely is. We're out in Chiba now, and we can hear the simics making their sound. Right? What's your favorite season?
Wow, I like October or autumn.
You do?
Yes, it's not so humid, not so much insects, not too cold.
Because you do have you have a lot of bugs and stuff here? A lot of insects?
Yes. A lot of insects every day.
Every day?
Yes. We are like our family member, our son, especially my second son, when we moved here, he never liked insects. He was always making so much scream to see the
insects. How old was he when he came here?
At the time, he was 11 years old.
11?
Yes.
Because before that, I forget. Well, Eric told me where you lived. Where'd you live before you came here?
We're in Funabashi.
Funabashi.
Yes, and we built here at the end of 2011.
Okay.
And since then, we came here only for the weekend.
Nice. This was your weekend home?
Yes.
Okay.
And because at the time, our oldest son was attending high school where he can go from Funabashi.
Right.
So after he graduated high school, we completely moved here.
Okay. Was it because of you wanted to, or was it because Eric wanted to?
Well, actually both of us, because we're living in typical 3 LDK mansion in Funabashi, and when we started to live, we had only one son, our oldest son, who was going to be 3 years old. So was just enough space. But after two sons born,
space got small real quick.
It gets small, and oldest son started to grow up. Then it became smaller and smaller.
So you were born in Tokyo, I know that.
Yes.
And you lived there until what age?
I came to Tokyo at the age of 18.
18?
Yes.
To do what?
To study at the university.
Okay.
International Christian University.
You went to ICU?
Yes.
That's why you're talking.
Yeah, so I was living in Tokyo, where I could commute by bicycle.
Right. Okay.
For 4 years.
For 4 years?
Yes.
What'd you study?
Mostly I studied at first some literature, American literature and English literature a little bit, and then I met a professor who started his own new course to learn about kind of American culture. So I took that major.
Okay. So growing up, do you have brothers and sisters?
No.
You're the only child?
Yes.
What kind of work did your mother and father do?
Well, my father was working at a company in Yamanashi who published a local newspaper.
Okay.
It's an affiliated company for the printing part. And a typical salaryman, Japanese salaryman. And my mother was mainly housewife, but she was most of the time she was always working as a part-time.
Always doing part-time work.
Yeah.
So when you were growing up, what kind of child were you? Let's say in elementary school, would you say were you more academic or were you more physical? As a child?
Not so physical.
Okay.
For physically, I don't have any talent.
You didn't do it even as a kid?
Yeah, I didn't like so much, and since I was small, I used to love reading books.
Okay, what kind of books did you like when you were small?
Well, many fairy tales, like not fairy tales. My mother always say I used to very passionate for the Three Small Pigs stories.
Really?
Yes.
My Three Pigs, Little Three Pigs?
Yes.
Is there? What other stories did you like?
I don't know. Now I read this for my son. when my oldest son was small, and he didn't like it at all.
You didn't like the Three Pigs?
No.
Okay, what about Kashi Mukashi? Hanashi, did you like those?
Yes, and also like some kind of horror for kids, or some kind of biography of someone who's famous, and many things.
Okay. When did your interest for English start?
Well, sometimes I'm thinking, but I'm not so sure. When I was around 12 years old, one of my mother's acquaintance, who was her calligraphy teacher, she was also teaching English. And at her home in the night time. And my mother told me, why you don't take her course? So I started to attend maybe 12 years or 13 years, I don't remember well, but for just to catch up at the school.
Oh, because you had to do English at school anyway.
Yes, and it was fun.
Oh, so
learn
she was a
English.
she was a good teacher then.
For me, yes, but
Yeah.
I started with my friend, and we have a class of 2 students and 1 teacher.
Okay.
But I think my friend quit at certain point.
But you kept on.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think? What do you think you really started wanting to learn English?
Was during the university.
Okay. Why was that?
Because when you enter the university, the first year is most of the time your class is on English, what they call academic English.
Right.
We are told that the first day of at the next entrance ceremony, the teacher explained, you are not going to learn how to make conversation. If you want to get the skill to have a nice conversation, better to go to Nova or some other school. We are trained, you must be trained to how to read, how to write, and how to make presentation in academic manner. This is what you're learning for this year.
This is what they told you at ICU.
Yes. So we are told how to read the book. Like
right.
If you want to read a book for writing some thin paper, like first of all, you don't read in the content. You just read the table of contents and like skimming where it's going to be concerned.
Then you focus on that.
Yes. And you put the mark and how to make a note and so on.
And then if you give a presentation, only on that section, of course.
Yes, and a presentation you must always do, and some teachers ask to record as to show I practice at home. It was very funny because at the time I started living alone, and there was no, at the time there's no iPhone, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to the discount store and bought a some recorder with big mic.
Oh, the old type? Yes, I remember, yes. Okay. So you did that to practice?
Practice alone, because you must record it and must submit.
So what were your other interests? You liked English. What else? Did you ever learn to play music of any type?
When I was about 3 years old until 17, I used to play the piano.
Did you?
Yes. But
so then
now
you
I
still
cannot
can.
do.
Yes, you can too. If you play from 3 to 17, you can still play piano.
I did, but now I cannot. My fingers doesn't move, and I forgot many things. At the age of 17, when I see the notes,
right,
I could put my finger with the thing and just go to where it should.
Yes.
Now I cannot do. I must think. Well, this position here is my finger, so must be right.
Is that right? But do you play sometimes?
Not now.
Not now.
I won't.
You want to?
I won't, and we have piano.
Oh, that's what I thought. I thought so.
Yes.
I thought you have a piano there. So you never. What about your son? Did you get any of them playing?
My second son, he did for a few years, when we are in Funabashi, but it seems he lost interest.
Okay. What about Eric? Does he play?
He never plays.
Never played.
Never plays.
Okay.
He never plays any instrument.
No, I'm just asking. So tell me, okay, so you finished at ICU with
Yeah.
what kind of degree?
Well,
Studying
when
what?
you graduate, it was, I think, a degree everybody for Bachelor of Liberal Arts.
Okay, so that's what you came up with.
Yeah.
So what was your first job when you came out?
Then I entered Sumitomo Life Insurance as a salesperson.
Okay. Is that how long did you work at Sumitomo?
Less than 3 years to 2 years and maybe 5 or 6 months.
Okay. Did you ever go to the States during any of that time prior to Sumitomo?
Yeah, when I was a student, and when I was 20 years old, maybe.
That was the first time you went to the U.S.?
Yes, for 3 weeks.
Okay, that was the first time you ever left Japan?
Yeah.
Okay. So where did you go in the States?
Well, there was kind of summer school to practice English for foreigners.
Okay. Where? Which state did you go to?
I went to Philadelphia.
Philadelphia?
Yeah.
And what did you think about it? Was it with a group?
Yes, kind of group, but it's for courses for some foreigners, and at the time mostly Japanese,
Right.
who wants to go to the university in US.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to prepare for the English.
Did you want to?
Well, not so much, but I wanted to go abroad.
Okay, just to see what it was like.
Yes.
Now tell me, are your mother and father still okay? Are they doing well now?
Yes, my parents are okay.
Okay. So since you were the only child, like you were like, oh, Hime-sama. You were,
Hope so, but
your father and you are very close, right?
Yes, I think they are close. But when I was a kid, I didn't like so much.
Like so much what?
My parents are not tough, but never treated me like a princess.
Okay. But who was the strictest, your mother or your father?
Both.
They were, so they're very close. They're close with each other.
Very close. And when I was preparing to study for an exam of university, my mother used to say, "You are very lucky because you are given chance to take the exam. There are many kids who has ability but never get the chance to go to keep studying. So you're very lucky. You're lucky enough. So don't think it's something special or only the study is something main thing. So do something to help the at home. And my job is like to wash the bus or take care of the dried clothes and so on.
Did you ever cook?
Cooking was I like, so sometimes I did. And my mother didn't like to remove the shells of shrimps.
So you do that?
Many times. She always asked me to do it.
Right.
And when I wanted to study something, I asked her, "Why you always ask me to unshell the shrimps?" And she said, "Because I don't like."
She never liked that. Did your mother come from a big family? Did she have lots of brothers and sisters?
Yes. My mother has 2 younger brothers, and when she was kid, my mother and older brother, their job was to wipe the floor everywhere inside the house.
Was she from Kofu too?
No, it was called Shimobecho. I don't know now, maybe name change, but it's
in
the
the same
south
place?
part of Yamanashi.
Yamanashi, okay, but she's from that area.
Yeah.
And your father's from there too?
Yes, just next town to this where my mother was born.
So they knew each other for a long time before they got married?
Actually, my father was hired my grandfather to teach her study at home as a tutor.
So he's older than your mother?
Yes, when he was university student, he was only one university student in the town. So my grandfather hired him to.
That's your mother's father?
Yeah.
Okay.
And hired him as a tutor to send my mother to the university.
And that's when they
But
started doing
it didn't go well, so
he married her.
in the end.
That's interesting. That's so interesting. So he was her teacher first.
Yes.
Oh. And she had to kind of take care of her brothers too, didn't she? Because she's the oldest child.
The oldest child.
And a girl too.
Yes, and it seems she was tough. Because one time my grandmother said in the winter time it's very cold, and we used to wipe the floor with wet towels. My uncle, the younger brother of my mother, had a lot of some marks like skins damage.
Right.
So my grandmother one time said, "Can you replace for him? Can you do cover where he does just for today because hands look so bad?" Then my mother replied to her, "Well, I can wash and squeeze the towels for him so he can wipe without make his hands so wet."
But he's still gonna do it.
Yeah.
Well, she was trying to be yasashi to her children, to her sons, and your mother said, "No, I don't think so."
Well, she's kind person, very kind person.
Of course she is.
Yeah, but some parts are tough.
How old is your father and mother now? Do you know their age?
My father is 78, and my mother is 75.
Oh, so they're still young.
Yeah.
They're still very young. And they're very ginky. Is your father still doing things, or is he working in any kind of way?
Oh, no, he's not working anymore, but he does sort of volunteer which is called the Child Line. It's an organization. Some kids who has trouble, anybody can call without telling the name and talk about their problem, and he just listening.
Oh, that is beautiful. Of course, he had to be trained to do that.
Yes.
He had to go through training to do that.
Yes.
Is he enjoying that?
It seems, but sometimes he should not tell what he had.
He cannot say. Yeah.
So I don't know what he had, but it seems sometimes it's very, very tough.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Anytime you're talking to other human beings,
yeah,
and sometimes it's close to your feelings, and that's
yes.
when it's really hard for someone.
And sometimes what he had is too heavy or too bad.
Yeah. And he can't, he's not supposed to tell anybody either. He can't say anything. And you have to hold that in. That's really difficult. Even if you're listening to your friend, but just to listen to it every day?
Well, it's not every day. Maybe, I don't know, it's a kind of rotation. There is a group and...
I see. But anytime, it's still hard.
I think it's hard.
But he likes doing it.
Yes.
Because it's helping people too.
Yes, and maybe it's good for him to have just to stay at home. Maybe it's boring.
What's your mother doing?
My mother is teaching flower arrangements in the Japanese style. So from time to time, she goes out and she puts a flower on the station. Or
oh, that's beautiful. Do they come here to visit you often?
Well, not so.
Yeah, because they can't often because they're so far away.
Recently, my parents said my father now do not want to drive the highway.
You can imagine.
Yeah, so maybe if I want them to come, maybe better to go to pick them up. Or
do you guys go out? Do you go out there often?
Well, we used to go before the COVID, but after the COVID, actually I miss them.
So tell me about you and Eric. So when did you first meet Eric?
Well, in 1995, December.
How long? I know when you guys got married and everything, when you had your first child too. That was 96 right away. But was this after you got out of college? Right after you got out of college, or
after while I'm working, there was some event organized by a woman who had some sort of club was to keep some English talking or something. And after I started work, I felt forgetting so much about the English. So
because you didn't have any English friends and you want to speak to them.
no need to use at all. So I felt a bit もったいない because I spent so much time.
Right, learning, right.
So, but I don't know how, but I found this club and went to the event, and Eric was there. He had no interest on the English at the time, but he was there because he knew the couple who was organizing this.
Mm-hmm.
And probably they needed someone looks like a foreigner.
Right. Okay. Had you thought that you'd ever marry a foreigner?
No.
You never thought that?
Never.
Okay. So when you guys got together, how'd your parents feel?
I think they're very surprised.
But not upset?
Of course upset at first.
They said something? Your father said to you?
Because at the time, my father was transferred to the branch in Tokyo, so he was kind of dancing symphony, and at the same time I graduated school and I needed a place to stay. So we decided to live together. And my father go back to Yamanashi on Friday night.
Right.
And then sometimes for Saturday and Sunday, Eric came. And one day he asked me, "Why is there so much empty beer cans?"
You weren't telling him, of course. He didn't know.
So I said, "It's my friend."
So when he found out was he mad?
Kind of. At first, yes.
Okay. So how long did it take before he started saying shogunai?
Well, then I think it was spring, and then in summertime I told my parents I'm pregnant.
Now how do they feel about that?
I think they were surprised, and we went to my parents' home. I gave a letter to my father before he go back to Yamanashi, and read it when you arrive with my mother.
Okay.
And I wrote, on this date I take him to my dear home.
So then they became very good together. That's so nice.
Yeah.
All right. Now tell me, when you guys got together, you were still working in the insurance company?
No.
Oh, you stopped?
I stopped and we started to live together.
Right. And then, of course, you got married. And then when did you start the wine business? Right away, or was it?
No.
You worked in so many places.
Yes, he was doing a totally different job. What is nothing to do with wine.
I know he was actually.
Yes.
He worked at Tony Roma's. He worked at so many different places.
He was working at Tony Roma, and then he wanted to find a job which he can work like a 9 to 6 or normal time. Then he found job offerings at the bureaus, and from 97 April he started to work over there.
Where?
At the bureaus, the German company who sells wine.
But he gives you credit for that.
It seems I told him
to get a sales job.
Yes.
But you don't remember that.
I don't remember it.
Okay. Well, you heard it here. She's not taking credit for Eric doing the wine sales. Not wine anyway, but selling. Yes. She says she doesn't remember. Anyway, but he gives you credit for that for sure. And this one thing is, I think I can say this as a man. We remember who tells us things that are important to us in our lives.
Yes.
He wouldn't have to give it to you. He wouldn't give you credit for it if it wasn't you. If it was him, he would say it was him. I'm sure about that. And you don't care so much. You just
This probably I said, but I'm not so sure.
I'm pretty sure you did. So after that, what was it like? When did you get involved with it? From the beginning? Were you involved from the beginning?
For the wine, no. While he was then he worked bureaus, then he moved to other company, and I also worked a few years. During that time, I started to enjoy drink wines. To establish a company, doing business, and many other things to be done. And to sell the wine, we needed a license, application, and so on. So maybe he could find someone who work with him as a partner. Difficult to find. So I thought better for me to do with him.
So how long have you been doing it with him?
Well, after May 16th, we are already 16th fiscal year.
16th?
16th.
16th fiscal year. Wow. Yeah.
So already did 15 years.
Have you brought in anyone else to help you ever?
Well, a few times we had some people who came to us who want to work.
Right.
Some people wanted to work as a totally freelance, like some percentage of commission. Some people want to work as a normal employee, but people left.
It never worked out. Did it work out or it never worked out?
No. Mostly just after one or two sellings, they left.
Okay.
Because our wines are not something famous.
I see.
And price is not very cheap. So people started to feel it's difficult to sell.
You're not selling your wine, you're selling your personality.
I think so.
That's most of it. And your husband Eric has a very good personality, as you do. And I think that's what makes the wine go so easy. No, I think that's part of it. And the wine is good too. The wine's also very good because I think we bought maybe 2 boxes so far.
Yes.
In the time, yeah. We come through. And my wife likes the wine. But they're good and they come on time. And it's right away. It's really good. I think the price is reasonable.
I think so.
It's reasonable for what you're getting. It's really good.
For the people who are accustomed to buy the wine, for example, at the supermarket, it's too expensive for sure. And also for the people who are accustomed to buy only very famous, for example, Burgundy or top class range of champagne, it's too cheap, not so much interesting.
I think what makes it very, very interesting, your wine, is the fact that the way you deliver it in almost a day. You're very consistent in what you do. But the thing I like the most about what you and Eric do is he picks them out. I don't want to think about it. He says, let me give you some good recommendations. And he goes, boom. And I like that. I don't want to think about
it. And some people like it, but also other people do not like it.
Well, that's true. Well, you're never going to get everyone.
Yes. And
you're not trying to. You're trying to get people to like it.
Yeah. And now what he feels a bit difficult, after the COVID, less and less people to try to communicate.
Right.
Yeah, people don't want, maybe busy or has so many information, so many messages, so many informations over the internet, people don't care. So this part is, must find some way.
We're getting so much information now.
It's exposed too much.
I think so. And it makes everything seem a lot less. But that's why I say it's really important that you're selling your personality.
Yeah.
Because if you can do that, that's it. Because to find the wine, anybody, it's almost any product. That's why human communication, I think, is so important now.
Yeah.
Having that.
Yeah, I think it's very important. But as someone told me a few years ago, if the people don't try at first, you never have a chance to sell your personality or to have communication with other customer. So that person advised me to issue the coupon to make it cheap at first.
That's smart. Have you started doing that? Not yet?
Not yet, because...
But you're thinking about it. You're trying to think of ways to give them at least the first time.
Actually, I was talking about this over the line with my son last night, because our oldest son is working for PR company. Mm-hmm. And last month he advised me to read a book how to be known your business. And he asked me how was the book. So I said I was told like this, and but I didn't feel something not so fully convinced.
So it didn't get you. It didn't hit you. That book didn't get you.
No. When it's difficult, if you don't, even if there's a day when you do any kind of things, everything goes bad. Nothing goes well.
Okay.
But even the day, if you keep doing something, you can do the best. Next day or next week or someday, it comes back something good.
Don't you believe that? That is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true. I believe that with my heart too. I think the podcast I did with your husband, he said, "Never give up."
There is a way.
He said, "Never give up." I said, "Okay, I remember that." Yoko, before I end the podcast, I always have a question I ask.
Yes.
If you could go back in time and meet the younger Yoko, what advice would you give her, and how old would she be?
Actually, I have no idea. Maybe between like 19 or 20. And I give her advice. You will be a mother of 3 boys at the time, which you never liked the boys. At the time, I never wanted to have any kids. But don't worry, there will be, and you're going to sell wine, which you never expect. A lot of things, unexpected things will happen, but do focus on something what you can do, and then you enjoy it to do in the end. Life is not so bad, not always fantastic, but it's not so bad in the end.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I want to thank all of you for watching this podcast. Make sure you press like and subscribe. And never forget, it's all unknown, so continue to reach for the stars because you're too blessed to be stressed.